Broadcasting from various countries around the world using voice over IP technology, this is VoIP Uncovered, a VoIP On Solutions UK podcast. I'm Kathleen Reed. Recently, Polycom took home an award for the best VoIP hardware at the Internet Telephony Service Providers Awards, held this past week in London, UK. Today, we're speaking with Chris Wortt, Polycom's VoIP sales manager for the EMEA, about the company, its award-winning product, and where Polycom is headed. Thanks for joining us today, Chris. First off, congratulations on your recent award win. That's fantastic. Why do you think the Polycom VVX 1500 business media phone was given the award for best VoIP hardware? Perhaps you can tell VoIP On's listeners what makes it unique.
Well, thank you, Kathleen, and thanks very much for noting the award. We're very pleased to receive that, so it's great news for Polycom. Good question. On the business media phone, the VVX 1500, some of the reasons why I think there's many of the qualities that Polycom is synonymous with in terms of the quality, in terms of ease of use, user interface, etc., have got to play a fairly major part in that, and the reliability. I think probably more importantly is that the organizations that have adopted this product and the organizations that continue to find ways to adopt this product are realizing that VoIP is not a commodity market, although sadly in some areas it is, and that this is actually something called a business media phone. So what this means to busy professionals is not just the ability to be able to manage complex call functions, but on top of that to add in applications that are pertinent to their business. So that could be any form of light application integration like CRM, or more complex back-end business applications, for example, like manufacturing machine monitoring or call rate monitoring. We can sit them in the applications portal that actually resides on the VVX 1500. And this is why we call it a business media phone, because it gives us the capability to not only offer telephony, but a whole bunch of other media. And of course, one of those very important ones is the video, to actually bring business-grade video to the user base, or the business user base, which is our target market.
Some folks online say it's expensive in spite of its potential to be an incredibly useful business tool. Are you worried that its price point will hurt its widespread adoption, or is widespread adoption even your goal? I think in these times of economic recovery, VoIP On's listeners would like to know how this product offers good value for the money.
That's a great question. I guess it could be perceived as expensive, and I guess that very much depends on what you align it to. Certainly there's a number of consumer products which offer a great price performance to the home market. I certainly don't think this product should be compared with that. I am not necessarily worried that the price point will hurt the product. Widespread deployment, of course, is something that we would like to see, but there are some realities in life, and the realities in life are that leading edge technology tends to adopt relatively slowly and then accelerate. We're seeing some pretty key applications being developed, and we've had a number of pretty interesting wins. Most recently, the one that's hit the wire was the government offices in Armenia, believe it or not, bought in excess of 40 of these for their own cabinet minister communication purposes. So that's a very, very simple way of looking at it. Value for money, there is an old adage, Kathleen, that says you get what you pay for. We see that in the business grade market, where quite often people will go for what they perceive is cheap, and surprise, surprise, guess what? They get cheap. The amount of times we've gone back in as a vendor to try and help because they've paid a little bit too little in the first instance is many, many occasions. So right now, I guess compared to some of the more consumer grade products, expensive. If you compare it to some of our more business class products in the market, then I would suggest that we're on a par.
Well, that's a great answer to that question. What you say is certainly true. You pay too little and then you get into trouble. So
get what you pay.
Exactly. So recently Cisco introduced its 9900 series multimedia phones. Do you see this product as a competitor?
Very definitely. Absolutely. And by the way, we welcome that too. I think there are some absolute factors. I think Polycom has clearly very strong brands, well regarded in the telecoms community, and when we bring out new products, people are interested, and that's great. I think when you have major names, and Cisco are clearly one of those in the unified communications market, also spending R&D dollars and investing in launching new technologies that happen to follow what we've done, that kind of vindicates what we've been about. So yes, we will see them in the market as competition, very definitely. I think there will be a degree of segmentation in terms of where the 9900 series product fits and where the VVX fits. It's a big market, and we'll see them out there, and we'll both win some and we'll both lose some. Clearly, we believe we've got some key differentiators, primarily around the application support in the open standards world. Very definitely, we do see that as a competitor moving forward.
So we hear that the VVX 1500 now supports Asterisk, which will certainly be of interest to quite a few people in the VoIP On listener community. But I also see that you have other phones that are specifically designed for the Microsoft OCS market. How is Polycom doing in the OCS market, and how important do you see it being in the future?
That's the $64 million question, isn't it? So how are we doing in the OCS market specifically? I can't give you exact details. We tend to keep that data relatively confidential. I would suggest that we're seeing the market for our CX range of products, which is our OCS-focused product range, enjoying three-figure percentage growth rates year on year. So that should be a fairly good sign. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't the be-all and end-all to the world revenue situation, but good growth rates, good adoption, fantastic support from Microsoft. How important do I see it being in the future? I think that's an unanswerable. Sadly, today, we all know VoIP is not VoIP. There are different flavors and different routes of doing VoIP. I personally believe that SIP is probably, well, not probably, it is, in my view, it is the key to all of this. And I think as standards become ratified, what you'll see is a number of different handset options that all use a base protocol, but have certain specializations. In this instance, and this isn't a forward-looking prediction and it's not a Polycom view, but in this instance, this may well be an OCS-optimized SIP handset in the future. So do I see this market as being important? Do I see what Microsoft are doing in this market as important? Probably more than important. I think it's critical. I think they're one of the very few companies that is genuinely giving the end-user community an open standards choice.
So are there other products coming from the Polycom VoIP portfolio that VoIPON's listeners should watch for in 2010?
Yeah, and I wish I could talk an awful lot more about them. We do. We've got a fantastic lineup on the Polycom VoIP portfolio. So without giving too much away, I think it's fair to say that being eco-friendly or green is very, very topical right now. So there will be an emphasis on reduction in power consumption. So that'll be one part of it. The way we do that is going to be extremely sexy. I'm not going to give you any more detail than that. Well, let me just explain one thing that will probably interest your community somewhat. Touch interfaces, as we are seeing on mobile phones and many other devices, are becoming increasingly popular. So trends would dictate that perhaps that kind of interface is taken on board the more dull business products that we currently enjoy today. So there's that, and there's also a great deal of development going on in standardizing our protocol stacks across our voice portfolio, from both the voice over wireless LAN or Wi-Fi, and also our DECT products, and some IP enablement of some of the other products in terms of our sound infrastructure products to become IP enabled. So there's a lot to look forward to.
Great. So I have one last question here, and it's more general, and it's just, so how do you think these products will fit into the larger telephony market in terms of where you see it going, especially in the EMEA?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So let me start off by making a statement, and the statement is that we, Polycom, focus exclusively on the business telephony market. Our stance is that we offer endpoints, and we try and offer the best quality and best price performance endpoints we can onto the market. How do I think these products will fit into the larger telephony market? Our background's from enterprise, so we tend to deliver enterprise product. As we proliferate with enterprise product, what tends to happen is that we'll filter down into the more price-sensitive markets because we'll be able to manufacture them more cost-effectively. I think the EMEA market is one of the most complex markets, primarily because I think we, as a group of countries, in many cases are a lot more conservative, perhaps, than some of our Western colleagues in the USA, whereas we say, great, we've got something, and it's shiny and new, but why would I use it when what I've got isn't broken? And that seems to be a fairly common thought process with European businesses. I think what we do with the technology leap that we'll be bringing through the course of 2010 is we give them very, very good reasons to do that in conjunction with our core control partners. So a very convoluted answer to what seemed to be a very simple question, but I think the segmentation of market is phenomenal. There's no either or. There is no mobile or wired. There is room for absolutely both types of product. There is no room for Wi-Fi or DECT. Both of those technologies apply into different environments. So I think we fit the markets that we go for.
Thanks so much for your time today, Chris. Chris Wortt is Polycom's VoIP Sales Manager for Europe, Middle East, and Africa. This has been a VoIP Uncovered podcast, brought to you by VoIP On Solutions. For more information, please visit www.voipon.co.uk.